Friday, everybody. It is July 18th and time for this week's Friday Funnies. Well, this has been a very unusual week. For starters, Anheuser-Busch, the fine folks who bring you America's favorite beer, Budweiser, is no longer American. They were purchased by a Belgian company. Belgian. I thought all these people made were waffles. Well, Barack Obama, on the other hand, still is American, but according to the cover of the New Yorker magazine, he is also a Muslim extremist who is married to a gun-toting terrorist. And finally, I don't even know who Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae are, but these two people are really screwing up our economy. I think they may be Belgian terrorists. All right, well, in relation to these big stories, everything else in the Friday Funny seems to be more or less normal. But then again, you be the judge of that. Our first story takes us up to Wisconsin, to Grand Chute, Wisconsin. That's C-H-U-T-E. I have no idea how it's got its name, quite honestly. Don't want to know. Grand Chute, Wisconsin. Up there they have a very upscale restaurant called the Seasons Restaurant. And Debbie Miller went into the Seasons Restaurant to enjoy her meal. She sat down, and that's when she discovered that there was a dead rat in her lunch. Well, she didn't really discover it as much as she put it there. You see, Debbie had gone out and got herself a white lab rat, cooked it in her microwave oven at home, brought it to the restaurant with the full intent of hiding it in her food. Then she went up to the owners of the restaurant and said, "This is such a nice place. Well, this is a travesty. I'm going to tell the media." Unless, of course, you can come up with $500,000. This is known as the Blue Plate Extortion Special. Well, police were called. Police said, yes, the rat was microwaved, but there is not a single microwave oven in the Seasons restaurant. So Debbie eventually confessed. She is currently cooling her heels at the Outagamie County Jail, where the real rats are kind of gathered around her going, "That's the one that nuked Louie. Let's get her." All right, our second story comes to us from Spanaway, Washington. Another lovely name for a town, Spanaway, Washington, where the honor system is nothing if not extinct. The city fathers of Spanaway, Washington purchased some life jackets for swimmers to wear at Spanaway Lake while they were there, because there's no lifeguard at Spanaway Lake. They purchased 40 life jackets for the swimmers to use and then return when they were done swimming. Well, all 40 of them were used. 5 of them were returned. The rest of them just sort of vanished. So if you're looking for a good deal on an almost new life jacket, you may want to catch the eBay listings from Spanaway, Washington. From here we go to Culpeper, Virginia, another interesting town name. This is where a teenager got arrested because he got high on mushrooms that he found in cow pies. Two things jump to mind with this story. First of all, why do they call them cow pies? They don't look like pies, they certainly don't taste like pies, and you can't get one at Baker's Square. And secondly, which do you think came first? Looking in cow pies for some mushrooms, or doing some mushrooms and then thinking about looking in cow pies? My bet is with the latter. Well, I've got one more story for you this week. I think we've all seen these moments on TV in church broadcasts where a parishioner has a religious experience and they collapse to the floor in this religious experience, and right before they fall backwards all the time, and they're caught by 2 sturdy ushers who, thank goodness, just happened to be there. Well, that's what happened to Matt Lincoln of Knoxville, Tennessee. He was in the Lake Wind Church where he had one of these experiences and fell to the floor, and unfortunately there were no ushers around to catch him. Apparently they weren't expecting him to fall at that particular time. Well, he is now suing the church for $2.5 million for pain and injuries he suffered during his religious experience. All I know is that if he gets the money in this lawsuit, if I were him, I would quickly change religions, because the God he had been praying to is going to be really, really ticked off. Hey, that's all I have for you this week. No Friday Funnies next week. I'm going to be on the road traveling from Washington, D.C. to Vancouver, British Columbia, but we will be back with the Friday Funnies in 2 weeks. In the meantime, remember, this is like the middle of summer. Get out of the office now. Go home. See you in 2 weeks.